Welcome to We Build Stuff, and this next couple parts, yes, couple, because I have about 8 hours of footage to go through for how I got from, a block of wood to this. We're going to show you how I made the neck. Now, this is about 90% done. There's still a couple little finishing and stuff, but I'm going to show how I did shaping, figured out that profile, how I got this profile, how I got the volute, how I made the actual fretboard part out of purple heart wood. The inlays on the fretboard and the side dots are all made out of abalone shell. I'll show you how I made this binding. A lot of the stuff, I just made it up as I went. I wanted it, so I figured out how to accomplish it. You can see how I did it. So far, this was extremely hard. The purple heart is very hard to cut. That took a long time to get my fret slots. And there was one oopsie, which I'm not exactly sure which part, but you're going to see where I made a mistake, made a cut too deep, and I had to repair it with some of that ugly looking. Anyways, that's going to be on the back. Nobody's going to see it but me and my feelings. Anyways, let's go. So I've got that temporary glued on, the CA glue and tape trick. I'm going to be using to cut my frets this saw. It's 14 TPI. It's a thick kerf. It's supposed to be 0.020, which will give my frets a nice thin thing to bite onto. It's worked for me before. And I only paid 20 bucks for it. So let's see how it works. If you remember earlier, each of these lines in my template will match up here with this little spot. Put that in there, pull it tight, and use that to get my cut. Nice and slow to get started. I don't want to tear out any of the wood. Purple Heart is a little bit harder than I've worked with before. But you can see that it is starting. Now here should line up perfectly with there. I'm going to do that for all of them, and I'm going to try to cut down at least a couple millimeters deeper than I need. If it's okay if I go a little deep, as long as I don't cut it in half. This is going to be some hard wood. It's going to take a while. So just to show, those are looking pretty nice. And it's not a bad idea to every now and then double check there's everything still straight. That's not bad for a hand-built tool. I'm going to do 24 of these. You probably don't want to watch them all. Or maybe you do. So my hand needs a little break from cutting. So let's talk about frets. Here we've got some frets. There's the top part. That's the part you see. And the bottom part. That goes in the guitar. That's about all I need to know. The depth of those little parts that catch the tang. What would you say that is? About 2 millimeters deep? Maybe a just over 1/16 of an inch? So when I'm doing my cuts, I could try to make it exactly that deep, you know, measure the depth. However, it's not going to be staying flat when it's done. It's going to have a little bit of a curve, a radius, a 16-inch radius, in fact, is my goal. And after I sand that radius in, I'm going to have to go back over and probably do some cuts because I will have lost some of my depth here. So right now, I'm not trying to even get all the way perfect yet. I'm just trying to at least make the mark so I can go back and hit it later with the saw. Some of them, that one's a lot deeper than this. That's okay. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a jig you could buy to do this for you? Yeah, there is, but you know, I don't have that. So overall, I think it's looking pretty awesome. It's number 24. Perfect. I'm right-handed, so this is a little bit difficult to hold. However, you do what you gotta do for the sake of the music. Okay, I'm saving some of the dust in a baggie that says purple. I'll try not to get pulled over with that while I'm driving, but that's just some of the dust from this thing in case I need to fill cracks. And every so often, just to make sure I'm doing things right, I'll go and check. This is looking pretty good so far, isn't it? Now, I still have, I don't know, 10 more frets, 8 more frets. Looking pretty good. I'm happy with this so far. Yum. I'll show you when I'm done all these other ones. Fret number 1. The final spot is where does that nut go? This one I'm going to cut all the way through because that's going to be the starting point. X marks the spot of the fretboard. Look, beauty. Oh, that's going to look so cool. Check it up with my jig. Perfect. So I've got my fretboard temporarily double-sided taped down to my neck piece here. I've got a toothpick and then a matching drill bit. My plan, so that during glue up it doesn't shake around, similar to when I did the body, is to drill a hole. I'm going to do one down here on the 5th fret. If you look closely, I've kind of planned out a little spot there. Drill one hole there, and then I'm going to do another one down here and go all the way through. I'll be able to use a toothpick again as a locator so that I can pop it together, and it shouldn't slide while I'm trying to clamp. Now, I should have taken some video before I did this, but what's below here? There's a truss rod, and then there's those 2 stiffening rods. I want to make sure that I don't accidentally drill down. So before I tape this down, I made a really high-tech template. I figured out my centers, so that I don't accidentally drill here. And then I made sure with this, line that up with my center, where's my nut gonna be, etc., that I don't drill too far to the edge, and that'll hold things down. I mean, technically, I could just drill on the out. Ooh, I could drill out here because it's gonna get chopped off anyways. Why didn't I think of that before? I think I'm just gonna do that. So I'll maybe put one here. You guys are seeing me thinking as I'm working. I'm gonna do one there, maybe 4, 1, 2. Those parts are gonna get chopped off anyway, so let's try that. So this is going to eventually be gone and cut, but it should be okay if I carefully go down straight. Oh, how do I know when to stop? That's a good question. Let's see, that can go here, plus a little bit. So I could hide it right below, but because there's so much extra that's getting chopped off, I might as well just do it out here. There, I got my 4 holes. Perfect. You can see here how they're going to get chopped off anyway, so that works. Pull off my double-sided tape, and we can prep for glue up. Now when I get this all glued on, I don't want all the glue to be going down into my truss rod channel or in my stiffening rods. So I'm going to mask them off a little bit more than needed first. And then I'm going to kind of trim away, because I still want to get a bit of wood glue in the middle here. So I've pulled off the tape where I want glue. This is going to be all getting glued. And then this, that's just representing here, will go there. So I know for sure that there's going to be glue all around, including the bottom, that is going to work for this. I'm going to be gluing on extra, and I don't mind glue going on the edge here. That's just going to help line everything up and hold it really strong. Glue up is next. I got my toothpicks. Let's get this prepped. I'm going to take my time. There's no rush. So I want this to work perfect. Tight. Now they're just locators. These aren't for strength. I want to make it easy for everything to get in there, so just kind of round over those edges a little. Make sure there's no weird sharp edges. And we're going to add glue. Now I only need glue here. I don't need it dripping absolutely everywhere. I prefer it doesn't. It's going to be going about there. I'll press down, get that lined up. This is centered with my center line, not necessarily the piece of wood, but based on my center here. Moment of truth. Once that's on, I'll probably also add this on top for some extra clamping power. Now I don't want to get anything really dripping, so I don't need to go crazy with what's in the middle. Just a little bit would be fine. I'll do a very thin spread there. I really want more near the edges. Almost there. I need to add a little bit more glue here. It's allowed to squish out, that's all right. Now, I'm not going to leave the tape there. We're going to pull that off carefully. just a touch more down there at the bottom. Clean up my fingers, and then we can press this on. I'm gonna take my time. I still got a good amount of time with this kind of glue for setting it up. Now some of the extra here, I can wipe it up now. Might as well, doesn't hurt. Less I have to clean up later. Especially with where my nut is gonna sit, I want that to be nice and flat. We're going to flip it so this part's down. Ready? Just hold the clamp and turn it slowly. There we go. That's good. Okay, you're going to go on this side. This is going to go down. So we're going to tilt. Okay. Lift a little, flat like this. Tip it a little bit. There we go. Just put that up. Fretboard clamped on. I sure hope I did it the right direction. So we got, what, 12 clamps? There's some math. Fantastic. 12, 13. We're gonna let that dry overnight.